Alright, I'm seeing my first marks out here at 30 feet. And, you know, I do trust my sonar. And I think, you know, one of the things that I look back and think about just how my skills as a kokanee angler have changed over the years, my tactics. And one of the things that I think that's really fundamental from the time I first started kokanee fishing, when I'd go out and I'd be happy to get one or two, to now where I go out and find good numbers and more consistently find limits, is my reliance on technology to help me do that. So one of the tools I find especially handy during the summertime is my Fishhawk TD. This lets me look at the distribution of water temperature through the water column, so I can readily identify the thermocline, which is where the kokanee will be holding. So I'm going to go ahead and start this thing up and put it onto my downrigger and just see what the water column looks like. It's 71 on the surface, so I know it's going to be a thermocline somewhere. Go ahead and stick this out of the way for now. And we'll just drop this. Alright, we'll just go for a drop all the way to the bottom here. About 40 feet deep here. There's the bottom. I was marking fish pretty tight to the bottom, so I expect the thermocline to be in that range. Alright, so yeah, 74 at the surface. Down to 15 feet it drops to 71. At 20 it drops to 69. At 25 it's 63. 30 it's 59. At 35 it's 57. And at 40 it's 54. So they're going to be in that 35 to 40 foot zone. So I know where to set it. Even though I've only marked a few fish, I can say confidently that those are probably kokanee and get started there. I think it's really common in the beginning for people, especially who are just getting started, to not trust their electronics, but it's really important that you learn how to utilize all these tools, because it really does make a big difference for me especially. Oop, there's fish. Looking like the first kokanee of the day. Nice. I think another thing that's really fundamentally changed since I started kokanee fishing is how I target kokanee at depth. When I first started fishing from a kayak, I was in a paddle kayak, so I mostly just targeted near surface fish at Merwin during the spring and early summer. But then I started using sliding weights, and then eventually transitioned to adding this downrigger on here, which has been critical for a lot of fisheries. And then I've started using these snap weights, and they've become a favorite of mine. Far more versatile and easier to use, less error prone than sliding weight rigs. They just allow me to fish more confidently and effectively at different depths than the sliding weights do. Ooh, this feels like a nicer fish. Yeah, it's a beautiful fish. Nice, that's a big kokanee. They're holding pretty tight to that bottom. That thermocline is pretty much right 5 foot off the bottom, so that kind of makes sense. That the downrigger would do a little better today. So last night I checked the lunar tables, and you know, it's 3/4 illuminated, so it's pretty bright last night. Just why I didn't feel compelled to get out here like super early in the morning. I knew that the bite would probably pick up as the day goes on, and that's kind of what I've been experiencing. And that's something that I didn't really key in on when I first started kokanee fishing, was really paying attention to those lunar tables. You know, the brighter the moonlit nights, the longer it generally takes for the bite to come back on. And that's just something I ignored when I first started kokanee fishing, but it's something that I really pay tight attention to now, especially when planning my trips near home and also distance trips. I tend to prefer to fish after the new moon if I really want to get into that strong, aggressive morning bite. I think another thing that's really changed for me as a kayak angler when I first started is I tended to just really favor silvers on my Dodgers or nickel, and just pinks and oranges for those classic Kokanee colors. And now I definitely play around a lot more with that relationship between different colors and different depths, you know. So, you know, when I start going deeper, purples and chartreuse and white and green, and, you know, when the sun comes out, using more gold, or even 50-50 split, trying to see what they're responding to. So, you know, having that flexibility, I mean, sure, I catch plenty of Kokanee on those sort of classic, strong Kokanee colors, but I definitely play around a lot more and experiment at different depths with different colors. I think finally the other thing that I've really come to embrace that's changed since I started, is understanding the seasonal movements of Kokanee in lakes, not just in depth and up and down. I mean, obviously fish are going to go deeper in the summer as it gets warmer, but they're also going to stage in certain areas as water levels go up and down in lakes, and some will go near their spawning grounds or wherever they're going to gather for the spawn. And a lot of times in lakes that they've been stocked, they're going to go to the nearest ledge adjacent to where they were dumped into that lake. They have really good spatial orientation, and it always amazes me that they know where to go back to. So being able to key on those types of things is something that I think is really valuable, because, I mean, the hardest part sometimes is just locating Kokanee, and having that knowledge has really made me a much more effective Kokanee angler. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye.